Okay, let's start with a word of prayer. I will lead you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet together in this program, in this course. We pray for your guidance, for your wisdom, for your insight as we look at programs to empower women. We pray, oh God, that you would continue to be with us in each session. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, welcome to the course. Have you had a chance to read the syllabus?
Yes, I read the syllabus last night.
Okay, and what I would do is I would take us through the syllabus, certain parts, to and give you a chance to ask questions. And then I'm going to actually go to lesson one, and we're going to go through at least some of it, if not all of it. So you
Okay.
have a feel for how the course flows. The course is called Programs That Empower Women. And what I found interesting and exciting is that as I looked at the research literature and the literature in general about programs that empower women, there are so many programs nationally, internationally, programs that are run by and through the United Nations, local programs that are run by nonprofit organizations, and also programs that are run by religious organizations, including the Christian Church. There are just very many organizations and institutions that are aware, but not only aware, but are acting on behalf of empowering women. So there is just a lot to see and to read. So the references that we have here in the course syllabus are just a small fraction of all the research literature out there on programs that empower women. So the course is designed, Natalia, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up the, okay. I'm going to pull up my, I need to pull up my files. Okay. I could have opened it from the course, but I'm opening it from here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is page 1 of the course syllabus and the course description. It says the course is designed to give insight into programmatic methods used to identify the underlying factors that impact inequities specific to health and the economic well-being of women. The research literature will be assessed to better understand the dynamics of transformational leadership practices that inform data collection processes, program design, methodology, mobilization, and implementation strategies that empower women that lead program development initiatives. I'll stop there for any questions, observations on that course description. I know it is pretty broad in terms of the focus. So as we go along, I will help you to narrow it down, especially as you apply it to the particular assignment that you will design. Questions, comments?
Well, it did touch on a lot of things.
Yes, it is. I agree with you. That's why I said it is pretty broad and deep. But what we want to do in this course is to, first of all, in the first 2 weeks, we're going to look at the issues, the issues that have led to the disempowerment, as it were, of women. But it's not just the issues. The programs that empower women are a response to the problem of empowerment that women have had. So these programs are a response. They are an opportunity to address women's concern so that women could function to their fullest capacity. Galina, any question?
So far, everything is just perfect. I am impressed.
Okay. And I am assuming that both of you have been in online classes, so I'm not going to go through the requirements of an online class. By now you are familiar, right?
Yes.
Sort of.
Certainly, okay. So I'm going to move us down. Okay, to the learning outcomes, the desired learning outcomes. At the conclusion of the course, you must demonstrate in your online discussions, book reviews, journal, and final project. And those are the assignments for which you will be graded. The threaded discussions, the book reviews, the journal, and the final project, that you have a basic understanding and mastery of the following desired outcomes: the ability to analyze transformational leadership strategies and problem-solving techniques needed in the development of programs for women, acquire the procedural knowledge necessary to create programs for women, and that second one is where we're going to focus quite a bit. Determine practical leadership strategies to mobilize human and financial resources for the development of programs for women. Engage in critical analysis of programs for women and their effectiveness. And assess the development frameworks and strategies that affect women, men, and children. Questions or comments on those learning outcomes?
I understood that if I want to get 4 credits, I have to write 4 book reviews. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Because this is a 4-credit course, in terms of the book review requirement, you have to write 4 book reviews. Yes, that's a good question.
Is it 4 or 8?
No, it would be, Florin, do you want to do 8?
Book reviews? No. I'm confused now. I thought that what we did for the last course, the LDR 714, I got the impression we had to do 8.
No, for the book reviews, there are other assignments.
No. Okay, 3 went in during the course. But the impression I got, I must really check with Dr. Brian, because if I don't have to finish those, fine, is that you had to write 2 book reviews for each credit.
Okay, no. I will check that. No. Wait, no, it's 1 book review. Okay, Florine, I've scrolled down to the page. You see that page that I'm on now?
Okay, yes, and I'm reading it, yes.
Yes, you are required to write 1 book review for each credit.
Thank you.
So it's 4 book reviews. Okay.
Dr. Claire, I've got a question about which books. Should we choose 4 book reviews to write from required reading?
Yes, You're right, from the required reading.
Oh, the required reading. Okay, thank you.
Yes, required reading.
So any 4 books?
From the required reading, yes, yes, yes. No, yes, let's do that. So it's just from the required reading. Now, if there is another book that you want to use from the recommended reading, I can discuss it with you.
All right.
So it's not a hard and fast rule, because the literature that we have listed here, they're all significant and important. So if you see something else that you would like to review, just let me know and we can discuss it, and you can, and you're most likely to get my permission. Okay?
And one more thing. Will you recommend something special, or just draw my attention to anything, or this is my task to select any that I want?
You mean in terms of the book review?
Yes.
Okay, there is a guideline.
Yes.
There is a guideline with respect to the book review. But it's pretty broad, so your focus can be unique to you. First of all, in the first paragraph, you state, do you see where I am?
I'm sorry. I mean that maybe you will recommend some special books which we have to pay attention to.
Oh, but it's all here in the listings, and I do that. You're going to see each week I do a PowerPoint presentation,
Okay.
which is the way I do my lectures. And you're going to see that at the end of the PowerPoint presentations, I have the list of sources that I have used. Now, those are sources that are important. That's why I've used them for the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Yes.
So that is a good question. And it's indicated by the focus that I give in each week in terms of the lectures being the PowerPoint presentations. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the reflection journal, and I know you're familiar with the reflection journal. Now, you are doing the reflection journal in the context of this class. So, of course, you're going to touch on themes and issues and concepts and theories that are unique to this class in terms of your own personal learning. Is that clear?
I think so.
Okay, so let's go to the position paper, which is the 2 big ones. They're all big and important and they're linked, but the position paper and then the individual project. With respect to the position paper, I would expect you to give each other feedback on your work, that particular interest that you have, right? The position paper reflects the position and case research that you're interested in. You're going to, as we go through the course, I'm sure, well, to begin with, I'm sure you've come into the course with some interest of your own in terms of women programs that empower women. But also, as you read the literature, etc., you may have a special interest in a particular program that empowers women, either in the area of health or in the area of economic development. So you would want to hone in to that interest. Of course, you will discuss that with me, and I will help you to hone into it in order to write your position paper. So as you look at that, you will examine possible ties through critical reflection between practice, theory, and strategies to improve the effectiveness of programs for women. The course is designed to get you into this direction. So you'll see how it's worked out each week as I do the presentations and as you do the discussions. Any question on that?
Not really.
Okay.
When I read it, I wondered where the feedback was coming, but I think I'm clearer now.
Okay, good.
Question. So we have to write a 7 to 10 page report.
Right.
This will be our final paper?
No, that's one of the papers. That's the position paper. The
So
next
should we
paper.
write every week or what?
No, that's not every week. That is at the end of the course. Remember, you do you put everything together.
All right.
Right. So no, that's not every week. Okay. So the individual project now, chapter 4, and but in both instances you have the freedom of choice, and we'll do it together in terms of discussing and helping you to formulate what exactly you're going to be looking at. But the individual project, you will complete a report on a program that has been designed to either enhance the health and well-being of women. And well, it should be either health, and I should have made that clear there. You may want to focus on health, or you may want to focus on economic well-being. Okay? This just says health. So I needed to have clarified that. It's either health or economic well-being. You will identify the problem, and you will not, that wording is not good. It wouldn't necessarily be you implementing a strategy so much as it is you're looking at a program that has already been administered, been evaluated, etc. You want to report on that program. So when you report on that program, you will tell us what problem or problems this program was designed to address. And then you will tell us what were the implementation strategies that was used in the program. Then you will identify what were the challenges, the problems, and that goes in two directions. To begin with, of course, you have the problem that the program is designed to address. But if you know anything about administrating a strategy and a program, in the process of doing that, challenges do come up that people have to deal with. So you would want to identify from the report that you have looked at of this program, what specific challenges they addressed as a result of the program that they sought to administer, and then to analyze the outcomes. I mean, we want to be able to say that the program was successful, but you don't just want to be able to say that the program was successful. You need to be able to state why is it the program was successful or how it was successful. So that takes us back to the beginning in terms of the stated problems, the goals and objectives that the program set out to address. Okay, that was a mouthful. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes.
Think so.
Okay. The student will also be required to provide insight into the theoretical model used in the program. I will be guiding you some more on that in terms of the theory that underlies the program. That's important. Lastly, each student will be required to effectively use at least one or two of BGU's transformational leadership perspectives and show how that could be integrated in that program, or how it was or how it wasn't, or if you were implementing that program in your context, how you would do it. Okay, now the note there is important because you have been exposed, you will be exposed to a number of different readings, and we would like to see that reflected in your papers, that you have read research literature. So you are advised to be able to quote from at least one text, each of the required texts that you have read. of course, you would have done your book review. So you would have been quite familiar with the text in order to quote from them. Any question on that?
No.
Good. And then the last chapter is your self-evaluation. You're not usually graded on this, but it is important that you be able to reflect on your own learning. Did the course fulfill your anticipated learning outcomes? Did it meet your personal goals? In what ways do you feel that you grew into your understanding of the biblical values and in how you have integrated them holistically into your life? Okay, so those are the assignments. Anything else? And you have the grading scale, etc. And then we have the list of the required reading, etc. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Question about the total number of pages. Is it going to be 45 to 50?
Pages for the assignment, is that what you're talking about?
So for the final paper.
Oh, yes, it's there. Let me go back to where it's
page 5.
It's there. It's 2 pages, your self-evaluation. That's the last thing.
Yes, but then it says submission of final document, and it says the total of 45, 50 pages. Is that correct?
That is of all the assignments, yes. That is when you put together, let's go back and look at the assignment.
It's further on, Killian.
Okay. Starting from the book reviews, right? The book reviews, that's chapter 1. And you're basically expected to do a minimum of 2 pages each for each book review, I think. Let's see. Let's see if the pages is well, they have the wording there of 500 words. For the first paragraph, 100 words, the middle 300, the final 100. So that is identified more as words than as pages. The reflection journal.
That's for each week.
Yes, each week, right. And I would say should be a minimum of 2 pages per week. Some people are more reflective, and it depends on your writing and your sense of reflection, etc. But I would say at least 2 pages per week, 2 to 3 pages, depending on that. Your position paper. It's stated there 7 to 10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the individual
pages.
project is 15 pages. And then the self-evaluation is 2 to 3 pages. So do you have that, Galina?
Yes, thank you.
You are welcome there. Okay, good. Now, if you have no other question, I will take you to the course and we will go through it.
Before we go, one of the things that I need to organize myself with regards to books, I'm always in a tight spot with books.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I can get most of them through Jennifer Roman.
Yes.
I was able to pick up this one, the one we're using today, because Vida had a copy.
Okay.
But they had sent me a link for pulling down books, which when I got, and I don't know what it is if my computer doesn't have whatever I need to allow me to access it, but I was in a total spin around.
Okay. Yes, I would. I recommend that you work with Jennifer. In fact, I think this Saturday there is a library orientation, and if you can join them for that, Florine, that would be good. Jennifer is having a library orientation.
Okay.
Okay. And the same, Galina, if you could join her, that would be good. But I know you've been in the program much longer. Okay, so I'm going to come out of this and then I'm going to go to the course. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen again and I will go to the course. Okay, go to BGU property. Natalia?
Yes, Dr. Henry?
If there's anything that you need to remind me of or have clarified, please feel free to do so.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. I'm going through properly to the course. Okay. Okay. So we're going to lessons. Oh, before we go to the lessons, let me take you to the info page and show you what I do. You see, when you click on info, you see those files come up to the right. That's where I put files that I'd like you to be able to access and use. So for example, we have the syllabus there. There are 2 copies of the syllabus, the one for 703 and the one for 603. You are doing it for 4 credit hours, so you will open the one for 703. And then I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go to that. No, that's week 2. Week 1, that's the week 2 one is in there. The week 1 is the PowerPoint presentation I'm going to go through with you. Factors that hinder women's empowerment. Okay? So, in fact, we will go there now. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted you. Oh, sorry. Let's go to the discussions. Just, you click on the discussions because that's what you're going to be. No, I'll go to lesson 1 and then go through lesson 1 to the discussion. We have 3 discussions this week. You have this concept discussion, and this comes out of the reading. It says, from the reading, identify at least 5 factors that contribute to women's health, economic, and educational limitations. And then by tomorrow midnight, or 11:59 to be exact, you will put your response, and then both you and Galina will respond to each other's observation. So that's the first one on the text. Let me go back to the second discussion. Okay. I'm sorry. The second discussion, you'll find these very interesting. This is a YouTube video that talks about paving the way for women entrepreneurs. And what I like to do is to have you, as part of the design to get you to focus in on the concepts, I find the YouTube videos are good. They're brief, but they are attractive avenues by which we could learn concepts for the course. So what I've have you do here is, having read Christoph chapter 11, you look at the video and you look at 3 themes that are similar to what Christoph writes in chapter 11 about entrepreneurs, and what Paving the Way for Women Entrepreneurs states. And you identify those 3 themes that are similar and report them in the discussion. Okay. And then the last one. This is the only week you have 3 discussions. The rest of the course, each week you have 2 discussions. Okay, out of the PowerPoint presentation, you have your Getting to Know You, which I know Galina has gone in and responded, and I know Florine will do that shortly. Okay, let's look at the PowerPoint presentation. Factors that contribute to health, economic, and education inequities. And the subtitle is Challenges to Empowering Women. I like to, let's see. Okay. I'm trying to move this on.
If you look to the right-hand side, Dr. Henry, you'll see that there are 2 scroll bars. Use the one that's inner, the other one. Yeah.
Which one?
There
Oh, the inner one.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I like, okay, I have this thing about PowerPoint. I like the other way. I don't like the scroll method, but we'll do the scroll.
Oh, where you click on it, advance it.
Yes, that's what I usually like.
Okay.
But we'll do it this way. I find this so boring. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I have to go up. I'm sorry. Oh, I need to go back up. Oh, I just like the other way. Isn't there, can't you do it that way in Populi?
You would have to download it. Right now it is showing from Populi. If you download it, then you can have it opened and full screen.
If I go to my
yeah, if you go to your copy, you'll get it large.
My copy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I find it so boring. Okay, we'll do it this way. So challenges to empowering women. What does it mean to empower someone? Why is it important that women be empowered? What factors hinder women's empowerment? And what programs have facilitated the empowerment of women? Anybody wants to comment or answer these any of these 3 questions for? What does it mean to empower someone?
To give them the authority to act, to give them enable them to act, to get on with the task.
To enable them to act, that's a piece of the response, but we can flesh it out some more, because empowerment is a big concept.
One part of it is encouragement, to my mind, and also giving them the right, giving someone a right to do something.
Okay, good. I would like to add that to empower someone is to give them the ability to become all that they can become. Give them the abilities and the opportunities to grow and develop fully as persons. I think I should have a definition here for you, but so why is it important that women be empowered?
Because women have to naturally lead the situations. I mean,
because women are parents.
Yes, and they have to lead in their situations.
They have to lead. But then, isn't it important that even if you're not a parent, that you should be able to become all that you can become for yourself?
Yes, that's important.
Yes, yes. And I deliberately raise that issue because so often we think of women and empowerment. We think of women in terms of the different roles that they play in life, which are all important. But we also have to acknowledge, and this takes us back to the Christian concept of creation, that we were created with value,
Yeah.
and we were created to we were created in the image of God to reflect all that God is and that He has planted in us, so that from a very personal place, empowerment is important. It's part of what it means to be human, to be created in the image of God, to fulfill His purposes in our lives. Okay. So what are some of the factors that hinder women's empowerment?
Lack of education.
Yes, education is one major factor. It's not the only one. But what else can we identify in that package of factors that hinder women's empowerment?
Lack of self-esteem.
Lack of self-esteem, okay. That's psychological. So we could say educational factor, psychological factor. What else? Galina?
I would say gender bias can be.
Gender bias, that's important, and that falls on the your cultural belief system, and it could be also part of your religious experience or religious belief system. But yes, gender bias. Good. Any other you'd like to identify? What about social factors and political factors? As we shall see from the literature as we go along. But there are many factors that can be identified, which we will do. And then there's this note here, which is a very sobering comment on how this is reflected in society. It says the markers of disadvantage typically include being a woman, being poor, lacking education, and the inability to own basic assets such as land. Okay. Okay, some definitions here. I referenced earlier, it's voice and agency, which is one of the recommended reading texts. And if that is a text you would like to do a book review on, I would say yes. It's in the recommended reading list, not the required reading list, but it's a significant text. Okay, it defines agency as the capacity to make decisions about one's own life and act on these decisions to achieve a desired outcome free of violence, retribution, or fear. There are multiple domains and context specific. For example, the 4 domains of women's agency are freedom from violence, control over sexual and reproductive health, ownership and control over land and housing, and voice and collective action. Agency is sometimes empowerment. So this is a definition of empowerment: the capacity to make decisions about one's own life and to act on these decisions to achieve a desired outcome free of violence, retribution, or fear. Okay. Any questions or comment on that? Okay, we'll move to the next slide. And it's not as clear as I would like it to be in terms, this is what I would have wished to project some more. Let me see. Okay. Let me see, I might go. I'm going to skip that and go back to it. Gender roles surrounding childcare and housework, social norms that can limit women's mobility. Then there's the question of legal discrimination, and there are laws and social norms that interact to impede women's empowerment. So we need to identify policy and programs that have worked to increase agency and highlight promising future options. And this is from Voice and Agency. Expressions of agency, freedom from violence, control over sexual and reproductive health rights, the ability to own and control land and housing, and voice and collective action. Benefits of agency. Remember, agency means empowerment. Lifetime increase in gross domestic product. Over and over, the literature will show us that when women's life situation improve, it impacts the family and it impacts the nation. The benefits of agency is also intergenerational. The research shows that when mothers are educated, then they seek to have their children educated to whatever level they are educated. And that spin-off goes from generation to generation. Mother's education improves child nutrition. Public programs designed to benefit women when women understand their choices and they are empowered to exercise them. So that gender outcomes are multidimensional and are considered in relation to economic opportunities, jobs, endowments, investments in education and health. An investment in education is the benefits of investment in education goes from generation to generation. And we see that especially with mothers and women. Overlapping disadvantages and what we call agency, empowerment, deprivations. Poverty, ethnic minority status, lack of control over household resources, and experience deprivations because of lack of education. So we see that there are interrelated factors that impact women's empowerment. Education is one of the keys, one of the important keys to empowering women. And that is demonstrated over and over internationally. Chapter 6 from Voice and Agency is called Amplifying Voices. Sorry, any comments or questions in terms of what we've just looked at? Galina, Florine?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Everything is so clear?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Amplifying voices. Participation in decision-making enables women to voice their needs and challenge gender norms in their community, both individually and collectively, from households to national parliament. The influence of information and communication technologies have impacted the empowerment of women. Autonomous women's movements have been influential in the passing of legislation on gender-based violence. Domestic violence is a no-no in most, if not all, countries today, because there has been political action taken to address that issue in terms of passing laws to address the issue of domestic violence. Then there's the benefits of women's political participation, and of course the influence and importance of collective action. And these together have amplified women's voices and been a positive influence on the empowerment of women internationally. The key messages of amplifying voices, that doesn't come out as clearly as I would like it to. So I'm going to skip it. The next time, I'm going to find a way to do it so that it doesn't do that. Education and women's empowerment. Education levels correlate with women's degree of sexual autonomy. Then the education levels are correlated with child marriage and wife beating. In other words, the more educated women become, the less do they accept child marriage and wife beating. In Middle Eastern and North African countries called the MENA countries, women's access to education has had tremendous impact. In these countries, women's university enrollment exceeds those of men. They call it the feminization of enrollment, and they see that especially in the medical sciences. And also they see the rise of activist women. Education has impacted positively women's self-perception. It has impacted women's reproductive and sex roles and women's social mobility expectations. Issues of women's health inequities. Christoph Van Don has addressed those. It's addressed in the literature, in most of the literature that we will be looking at. But there's the issue of lack of prenatal care, the lack of or absence of contraceptives in the developing world, but contraceptive programs have had a modest effect on reducing fertility. Women need more say-so in family planning. Then there has been the non-attention and non-treatment of sexual diseases. Family planning programs have accounted for at least 23%, which is a significant number, of fertility decline in poor countries. AIDS is a disease of gender inequality. Women are about twice as likely to be infected during heterosexual sex with an HIV positive partner as men are. And that has been one of the troubling issues with regards to AIDS. Okay, and so I've identified the sources here. Voice and Agency, Christoph and Woodham, Half the Sky, and Mogadam, Modernizing Women, Gender and Social Change in the Middle East. So whenever you go through the PowerPoint and you look at the sources, you know those are sources that are important and that you want to look at some more. Okay? Any questions or comments on the PowerPoint presentation?
Not
Very
really.
informative.
Okay, thank you. Yes, this is such an exciting course to work in, because like I said, what struck me is the numerous programs out there that are designed to empower women. And then, of course, I ask myself the question in terms of our context, that is the church. Do we have any programs, or do we see the need for programs within the church, or programs designed from a religious perspective to empower program? That's a question I ask myself. And when I look at the literature, I've been looking to see what has been documented about empowerment programs for women in the context of faith, in the context of Christian religion, etc. I've been looking for that. And if you see anything as you do your readings, please point it out to me.
Will do.
Okay. Okay, so I think that covers let me just,
That is quite a mouthful.
yes, I do agree with you. It's quite a mouthful. Yes, I would say that. It is quite a mouthful. Let's go back. All right, just go back to week 1. Okay. So you know how to navigate the course. There is an online chapel that is optional, but I've set that up. You can go in and see what is there. And then there's the getting to know you. Natalia, is there anything that I may have missed?
Well, you went through how to access the PowerPoints, and you know that the PowerPoints that you have there, the students can download them and save them to their own machine to review even when they're offline.
Yes.
If you can look out for announcements on the dashboard, that's the first screen you see when you log in. So
Yes, if there's any announcement, I'll put it there.
Right.
Yes.
And to the right of the dashboard, you see a schedule there. So like when assignments are due or when Zoom rooms are coming up, you'll see that show up under the schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, that's basically it. And you can even add items to the calendar there if you'd like. So say you have an assignment due on the 20th, they could probably just drop a little note in there on the 10th to remind yourself, stuff like that. So when you get a chance, just take your time and go through and see what is there. And as Dr. Henry mentioned, if you can make the library session on Saturday, it's a good idea to attend, just to see if there are any changes or improvements that can help you in terms of resources for the class.
What time on Saturday is it?
Let me confirm that with you. I got the notes.
Okay.
I'll put it on the dashboard so that you'll be able to see the date and time and also the link.
Okay. Or if you could can you send them an email or send me an email and I send it to them?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, send me an email because that is usually the easiest way and the quickest way. So if you could you could also put it on the dashboard. But if you send me an email and then I'll forward it to Florine and Galina. Okay.
Sure, no problem.
So it's only 2 of us on the course?
Yes, it's the 2 of you. Yes.
Oh.
Dr. Claire,
yes.
question about the deadline. Are we supposed to submit our papers by June 3? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the end when the course ends. Yes. Now you are going to submit a book report, so that I can assess it and give you feedback, before the end of the course. But you need to pace yourself in terms of doing your assignments, but everything comes due at the end of the course. Is that clear?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, this brings us to the end of our introduction to the course. You can go back in and go through the PowerPoint, and as Natalia explained, you're free to download it to your computer and view it at your leisure.
I
And
have printed it already.
you have? Oh, good. Oh, good. Good.
I have it.
Well, it's been my pleasure to meet you, and I look forward to a good class together.
Yeah, same here. Thank you, Dr. Claire.
You are very welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you. And I want to say hello to Natalia. I didn't see her from our Jamaica, since our Jamaican overture.
Oh, okay.
Is she, Natalia, are you still here?
Yes,
Natalia?
I'm here.
Hello.
Yes, she wants to see you.
Hi, Darlene. I don't have on my face. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello.
And
Now, you will probably
you remember my
Okay.
Yes, Galina had met date and I when she came for overture.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Overture in Jamaica, that's lovely.
Yes.
It was a great time. Amazing.
Yes, it was. We enjoyed and we learned so much.
Good.
So nice to see you both.
All right, you cut your hair.
Hello.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, everybody.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And anytime, if you have any question or problem, feel free to send me an email. Okay? Yes. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
You are very welcome.